would listen though. That's the problem.
We treat it like an old school. Where in the world is Carmen San Diego? Like, listen up, gumshoes. Who put gum in my shoes? I will fucking murder them. Those things are worth $800 right now. They're worth $800. Well, I did spend $700 on them, so they're not really worth that much compared to when you had them. Have you had them for a couple of years? I mean, a couple of years, sure. If by years you mean weeks, you're an idiot. No, it's an investment in my comfort. And that's the story I tell my wife every time. Ladies and gentlemen.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
And now, the Dorkening proudly present the Midweek Geek.
No way. Mama always said life was like the Midweek Geek. It's that time once again for everybody to kick off the shoes and call a friend. Come on down, get on in. It's time for the Midweek Geek again. I can't believe it's the Midweek Geek. I just love that Midweek Geek. There's nothing really quite like it. Midweek Geek worked for me. Somebody hurry, we need the Midweek Geek. Ruff, ruff. What's that, boy? The Midweek Geek is stuck in the well? The results are in. You are the Midweek Geek. Take 2 Midweek Geeks and call me in the morning. Side effects of the Midweek Geek may include laughter as well as geek knowledge.
No, not the geek knowledge.
Okay, we'll stop it there. I want to thank everybody for watching. Show's not over yet. My name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. You're watching the Midweek Geeks, powered by the Dorkening Podcast Network. We have an awesome show scheduled for you as always. A lot of news dropped this week, a lot of dorky stuff. Plus, we may talk about shoes or something like that. You never know.
we might.
Hey, we just met.
It's me. Holy crap, how y'all doing tonight? I'm excited. I love Wednesday nights, and Brandon's back, and Yo-Yo's here, so it's
also my front.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Hold on.
Well, I like your back, but your front is amazing.
I hate to see you leave, but I fucking love to watch you go. Wait. Do you want me to leave, or are you attracted to me? Yes. Oh, all right. Cool.
So Brandon's here.
No, I don't. Not a lot. Oh, here. Sorry, I thought you said. Sorry, I'm so confused tonight. I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. Apparently, I am sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry you couldn't understand. It's that Connecticut accent,
Yeah. Well, awesome stuff.
Awesome.
Yo.
Hey, everybody.
So you missed it before the show. We were having a thrilling discussion about shoes.
Yes.
Was that sarcasm? Did I just detect a note of sarcasm?
It felt
Not
like
really.
a peanut butter
Sar-
layered on a jelly sandwich.
Sarcasm.
No,
Am
I
I saying that word right? I feel like I'm putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
So our own Jar Jar threw that together. Brandon, did you have help in that as well? Or
No, I want to have everybody come together to do
Yeah,
that.
I would love to come in and say the name of the show correctly at any point. That would be fantastic. Because it's a goddamn plurality. I don't know who the midweek geek is, but boy oh boy, I can't wait to meet them.
As I said,
I'm just busting chops.
it was supposed to be just not shown to the
Get
world.
off my fucking back, man. Speaking about backs, Brandon's back. No, wait.
Hey,
No.
Brandon's back.
Hey, Tom. Carrie was a special guest last night. She did awesome.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, Steven.
Steven, get back to work.
Yeah.
Yo-Yo, by the way, in our private chat here in StreamYard, I put,
saw them.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I
That's
saw
that's the pair of shoes, and then for the other website that everybody likes to go and buy things from because you can get delivery in a certain amount of days if you have a primo membership. I gave you links to Soul covers as well as an official red Soul restoration paint in case there's anything that you need to touch up on them.
So you're allowed to resto shoes?
Yeah, man. Listen,
okay.
listen, Broham. All right,
Hey, I'm sorry. Comic book world, like
okay. Well, look at it this way.
restoration is looked as bad. So like I was,
No, like you can like people resold Jordans all the time.
no
Yeah,
shit.
Like
yeah,
those things start
absolutely.
crumbling if you don't wear them. So
Well,
Yeah, like,
I
listen,
always wondered how people kept shoes looking so nice. So like,
Well,
I mean, ideally you wear them.
yeah. The thing is, there is a modicum of care that you need to have, like as a baseline, when you step out the door wearing any footwear that is worth a damn. But you can take preventative measures to keep things from going south before you even have those things touch the outside. But certainly if you are able to resole or do anything like that, and it's not going to destroy the overall integrity of the shoe or sneaker, whatever it is you're talking about itself, and you don't plan on selling it, it's for you, then fuck the dumb shit. Yeah, why wouldn't you do that? Like,
I'm just like wicked shoe ignorant. Like up until I met my fiance, I bought the Walmart specials, and like I didn't know your feet could actually feel good.
oh my god,
Like,
bro, those Air Max Pluses that I held up, my Miami Vices, I fucking I fell in love
I
with
thought
the
everybody's feet
Pluses.
just hurt all the time.
No, man, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I
really
first
did.
time I put one of those pairs, that particular pair of Nikes on, like that type, I slid my foot into it and I was just like, what? Oh my god! It was like wearing a non-sticky marshmallow. It was phenomenal. And then if you put like a nice like Dr. Scholl's like gel insert in such a thing, game over. You literally feel like you could jump as high as Michael Jordan. That's it. Dunzo. But yeah, like for some of the stuff that you're looking at just right out of the gate, like not increased in value, just what you have to spend in order to get the product. Like the particular pair of shoes that I've had my eye on and that I sent a link to Yo-Yo for, made by a big designer. And this is shoes, not sneakers. The cost of one of those pairs of shoes is $1,045.
Wow.
that's why when I sent the link to Yo-Yo, I also sent him a link for the soul protectors and the restoration paint for the souls in case anything needs to be touched up.
Interesting.
Yeah, and especially if you want to wear them to a nice place like a bank. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, $1,045. That's a lot of money. But what's even worse is it could potentially be $2,090 because I might want a second pair to not wear the same pair at work all the time. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is the slippery slope of like liking different types of footwear, like making sure it's stylish and comfortable, but also like, well built.
And this is just my living room. Like sneaker.
Yeah,
like this is just a few pairs I keep in the living room.
The few pairs. It's like literally a dozen and a half fucking
boots
pairs.
And I have a closet full of more.
Mm-hmm.
I do have an extra.
My
pair
closet
of shoes
upstairs
right
ridiculous.
Now. Extra pair of shoes right now because I'm saving a pair for GamerCon because I do want to present well when I go to these cons and stuff.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. If you ever see me wearing the Air Forces that I showed you, I mean, it'll likely be with like these two shirts because
I love that shirt, by the way, the Superman one. Yeah, that is gorgeous.
Can't get it anymore, man. Most of the shirts that I have like that you can't get because I bought them at TeePublic, and clearly somebody at fucking Warner Brothers / DC opened their goddamn mouth and they're like, "Oh, that's a cool T-shirt. Where'd you get it?" "Oh, I got it at teepublic.com." And they're like, We don't merchandise anything.
Yeah,
like, oh no, it's all like independent artists make stuff and they sell it. Like, oh, and they're using our trademark symbols and making money off of that. Well, I'm glad that so many people enjoy it. We're gonna put a stop to it immediately. Oh, cool, yeah. Why let people have joy in their lives? You should definitely squash that out. Between that and graffiti designs not existing anymore, what the fuck, man? I didn't even know graffiti fucking stopped. Like, I swear to God, like a year ago, I was like, cool, well, look at all these shirts I can get like over the next year. And I went there a couple months ago and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Nothing. They're like, we're currently like redesigning our model and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, so you're just going to do like graphic art. That's not the same thing as an awesome superhero themed t-shirt, you dinks.
The t-shirts, I used to work for a t-shirt company and the styles definitely came in phases. Like I remember a big thing was when like distressed came back and but I mean it was cool watching, like I was in the same office as one of the artists and just watching him work was just crazy. He would like work a week drawing one design, it was just insane.
That one design, a stick man. Oh shit.
Well, we did a lot of shirts for the theme parks.
I have to say the theme parks sometimes
like Rocky Point, Whalen Park.
Oh, Whalen Park! Oh my God, have a whale of a time.
we had a killer idea. And,
Water Country.
Well, we did a lot of like
Canopy Lake.
Well, anyway,
Benson's Wild Animal Kingdom. That's a real Wayback Machine reference right there. Anybody under the age of 30 is like, Brandon is just stringing words together now.
This was back around like 2010, 2011. We were putting QR codes on the shirts, and for the theme park, if you scanned it in, it would take you to a video of the roller coaster. So if we did like a shirt for a specific roller coaster, and the thought was, you sell the shirt and somebody says, "Oh, cool shirt. Hey, check out the roller coaster." And I worked out a deal with a YouTuber that was like videotaping all the roller coasters and stuff like that. It was a fun time, but that company went
Seems
under.
Like a lot of work for one shirt.
Well, we sold it. It was a large t-shirt.
We sold more than one of them.
Yeah.
I just would love to see like that particular instance, like you use that as an example, like, whoa, cool shirt. Well, you can check out the roller coaster. Like for me, I'd be like, Oh, really, sir? Awful presumptuous
Hold
of
on.
you to think that because I like your shirt, I would like to go scream and have a coronary on a rickety fucking designed cart going 70 miles an hour downhill with just
You're
a bar between me and merging with the infinite. No, sir. Just tell me where you got the shirt. Ha! Just saying.
We did the shirts for all the what's the Big East?
Big
The
E.
Big E.
Big East.
Big E.
Like Big East.
The Big E.
Big E.
You're
Big
talking about
East.
Big E?
Big
talking
basketball.
Oh.
Big
Oh.
East.
Okay, seriously, like
No,
I was being
you said like theme park stuff, and
Yeah,
then you
and
bring up
then-
sports,
and then you bring
can't-
up
you gotta-
basically what amounts to a goddamn regional fair for New
Yeah.
England. And, you know, it's like we're talking about all the same kind of shit. You're like the Big East. And it's like, no, it's E. Yeah, it's East. EAST. That's what I'm saying. Big East. Yeah, and we're correcting you because it's Big E. No, it's Big East. No, it's Big E. And it turns out everybody was right because we were all also wrong.
No, it was yeah, we did everything. Like yeah, the theme parks was one. We also did like all the Dare merchandise for the we were one of two like companies that were allowed to make Dare merchandise. Yeah, it was
Oh, you know, you guys went for it and dared to
Yeah.
dream.
yeah.
I mean, nowadays you could do augmented reality. That could be kind of cool on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Cool T-shirt. Hey, you think so? Stare at it. You'll love this roller coaster. You're so right, man.
Like, oh, feel free to take a photo of it. All of a sudden, it's just like a theme park ride riding around the person's chest.
It's like, oh yeah, augmented reality. See, it really enhances like everything around you. It's like, yeah. We had that when I was in high school too. We called it acid. Like, and I'll tell you, I've used augmented reality stuff, and acid wins every time. Like, I don't care what anyone has to say. Like, I never had a bad trip. I always had. I did enough acid in high school to kill a pony.
Huge fan.
Yeah, one time
Killing ponies or acid?
Acid. Sorry.
Yes.
Not. Yeah. I'm
That's-
a big
that's-
fan of not
that's the
killing
code.
ponies.
That's the code moving forward for having dropped acid. Oh, I was killing ponies, man.
Killing them. Crazy.
Ponies. Fucking shiny ass
One after
ponies.
another.
Killing them left and right, kid. And a few years later, like, you know, after I'm out of high school, I wouldn't even at that point, 15, 16, 17 years ago, I wouldn't have known where to even find anybody to get it anymore. But believe me, when I knew how to get it, I fucking got it. And I was working a horse show as jump crew, and you know, I was feeling my back was a little tight. We were resetting the jumps for the standards and what have you. The same kind of show jumping stuff that eventually broke Christopher Reeve's neck. I'm there and I'm like, oh God. And I turned to like my brother and one of our buddies work, and I gotta crack my back. And my brother's like, oh, I'll help you out. And I do the whole, you know, right here and take a deep breath. He lifts me up, and then I breathe out, and it sounded like when he cracked it. And then he dropped me down. I was like, oh yeah, take a nice deep breath in. And all of a sudden I was just like, what? And everything suddenly went from, it was, you know, a nice sunny day, blue sky, barely a cloud, nice green field, little foresty area surrounding it, 495 in the distance. You can see the cars going by. And as nice a day as it was, all of a sudden it was straight up like going from the inside of Dorothy Gale's black and white house and stepping into goddamn Munchkin Land. I was just like, what the fuck? Why are the blues so blue and the greens so green, man? This is fucked up. I haven't felt like this since. And immediately my brother and our friend were like, the last time you did acid, bro, I think you may be having a flashback. That was a pretty bad crack. That's where that stuff gets stored, you know. I was like, whatever, man. the rest of the show is going to be great. And it was because of that. There's no part of the show itself that was great.
It gets stored in your back,
in your spinal,
Spinal,
spinal fluid.
Yeah, fluid.
Yep.
Yeah. So he got right in the middle of my back when he cracked. So it like did like the lightning bolt up and down, and it just loosened everything. And I felt it. Like it was like this weird like
pop
tingle almost. And I was just like, oh man, I'm so glad that my spine stored all that brain happy juice. This is phenomenal, man. I was like, I wasn't even hungry. I was walking over to the food vendor that they hired, and I'm like, I would like, like I ordered like half the menu, and they're like, you gonna eat like any of that? And I was like,
hell no.
It's for the judges. Hey guys, help me. I apparently need to give all this food to the judges now. Why? Because I'm really fucked up and I lied. Ah, yes, good call, Brandon. Let's do that. Never mind. It was not something I set out to do, and that's why it was probably the most fun horse show I ever worked. But woo, that stuff. If I could get it now, I'd be like, oh, I can't wait to take my vacation this year.
I thought it was becoming legal in some of the states.
Seems mushrooms are.
Mushrooms, yes,
Mushrooms.
psilocybin.
Yeah.
Because it's actually, there have been promising studies showing how it helps with depression. Yeah, LSD is trickier because it's all chemical.
Yeah,
and it's synthetic, and also
a lot better.
It is. I honestly acid. Acid. If you drop a tab of acid, you take a drop of acid. In about 20-30 minutes, you're gonna you put it in your eye. I did that too by accident. Wouldn't recommend it. So they put it in a Visine bottle.
Good times.
Oh, certainly times. I will say. I mean,
I believe it was times.
Time
it felt like all of the times at that moment in time, and but yeah, like I would say that the negative connotations of LSD and MK Ultra are, something that a lot of people wouldn't trust were it made legal. Just like, blah blah blah. Like we already have people that think fluoride is controlling brains. Let's not rock the boat. Stop it. We'll not rock the boat on that.
Talking about the effects of that with depression. The new medication I'm on, and I know this is totally not like dorky related, but you guys know the new medication I'm on.
It's like a fucking like a sugar spoon full of cocaine every 4 hours.
Pretty much,
I remember because your turn.
I did not know that you were on
your
cocaine.
Turn of the 20th century doctor.
No, I'm on Wegovy, and
he was like, Leo, take a small spoonful of this and snort it directly. It'll go straight to your brain. But before it takes full effect, do make sure you masturbate at least twice.
And
I don't know if I'll be able to handle that, Doc. Don't worry. I'll do it for you. That's the only way we can get rid of the ghost in your blood.
These leeches aren't working.
Well, you okay, Doc? This is also the prescription I give myself. Yeah, that tracks. Okay, then. Now I get it.
Well, anyway, since I've been taking it, which is the beginning of January, I have not had a panic attack at all.
Fantastic.
I had like a minor one, like
what's the trade
last week.
Yeah, what aren't you saying? There was like, I haven't had a single panic attack. Meanwhile, Leo has developed night terrors he's not telling anybody about.
Can't sleep, clown will eat me.
It's become the bane of Megan's existence.
No,
I don't want him to die, but I'm gonna fucking murder him.
The side effects are pretty rough. Bad headaches, definitely stomach problems every now and then. A lot of gas at times. It's like burping. Not
normal for me.
Try new Feel Betterall for crippling emotional pain. Note: side effects may include crippling physical pain. Wait, what?
Oh, and energy, it'll like zap your energy every now and then.
Like, hold on, zap it? You mean you'll get energetic? Or do you
No,
mean
no,
it'll
no, no.
It'll
Just
sap your energy. Is that what you mean?
sap it. Yeah, sap it.
Well, I mean, those are two very different things. Like if somebody said to me, like, "Oh, it really
don't think
zapped
they're
my
using
energy," I'd be
that
like,
word.
"Good for you, man! Fucking get up and go, pep in your step." Like, no. I mean, it really like made me less energetic.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think those are the words for the thing that you mean, but
Well,
that's a bummer.
tomato, potato.
Tomato, potato, potato, tomato.
Just want to mention real quick that we talked about this yesterday, but we had Tim Jones on, and he is going to be at Northeast Comic Con this
I
weekend.
love that.
Nice.
So definitely stop by to go see him. He
You can
is
get some cosplay commissions.
yeah, he's doing commissions.
Love it.
Yeah, just love what he does. So yeah, Northeast Comic Con this weekend.
All right. Giggity.
Yeah. So a bunch of stuff happened this week. I know.
Tell me the topics because I legitimately did not look at the chat and have zero idea what we're talking about.
Let's see.
Shoes. You didn't know?
Choose your character.
John Bernthal returning as the Punisher.
I meant talk about stuff that I care about, Leo. Jesus. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I don't care, but that is great for
Rogue
everybody.
2 has been announced.
What?
The look on his
Rogue
face.
2. That was funny, yo.
Rogue 2. What? No. What?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank God.
Just pulling you.
It's all the characters from the first movie, and now they're force zombies somehow.
Maybe that was the canceled Kevin Feige Star Wars movie.
Oh, I mean,
that probably
world
good
may
reason why
never
they canceled
know.
it.
Yeah. It couldn't possibly be that they realized, hey, maybe we oversaturated. You mean saturated? No, I mean oversaturated with Star Wars movies.
Yeah, so that was one of the things was I know Steven put it in the chat here.
He just said, put a bunch of stuff in Discord for y'all.
Yeah, that's what I'm going through, Steven. But I will go through.
Like, Leo's going through is like, none of this has anything to do with the show. What the fuck? By the way, Steve, I can't believe that you came up on episode 237, 237 a year of Super Retro Throwback Reviews, and you didn't do anything covering The Shining.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like that was a gimme. It's the room that the hag is in the movie. They changed it to that because there is no room 237 at the Sidewinder Hotel where they shot it. And they didn't want people to have a negative connotation at the establishment itself when they would get a room, and it ended up being 217 because that's the number of the room in the book. So that was the compromise that they came to. And it's just like one of those things very specifically. If you ever hear anyone talk about The Shining, like, oh, room 237 really scared the shit out of me, it's like, so you've only seen the movie. Wonderful.
So this here, Steven just put it in. I haven't had a chance to go through it yet, so definitely take it with a grain of salt. But Deadline is reporting that Lucasfilm has been sued for egregious axing of producer Karen McCarthy from Star Wars series The Acolyte. Egregious.
Okay.
What's Acolyte? I've never heard of this series.
I
didn't know there was a.
Was that
show.
the one that was being developed?
I know Rogue Squadron was being done.
Wasn't that was the one that was being developed for what's her name, Gina Carano, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say it was gonna have like Gina Carano, Brie Larson was involved.
I wonder why they canceled it then.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about that one.
It's a real puzzler. I mean, listen, Gina Carano, world-class piece of shit, and I don't think I'm gonna get too much pushback on that one. However, she'll be okay because she comes from a fucking loaded family. Like they're a bunch of scumbag casino owners, so she'll land on her feet. She was never in dire straits for any portion of her career up till that point. So you know what? Enjoy making your stupid fucking Ben Shapiro prairie movies that only you and Ben Shapiro care about. That's fine.
Oh,
Next.
Yeah, well, we mentioned the shakeup at Star Wars. The Kevin Feige movie is canceled. They also canceled another show as well.
what?
Is it just the oversaturation, or
I mean,
they?
probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Because especially because after Bob Iger retired and Bob Chapek took over, there was a very clear shift in the approach, and that is, hey, let's go with quantity
All of that.
Yeah.
and not so much the quality.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was Rogue Squadron. It looks like that's the one.
Oh,
that
that was Patty
Right,
Jenkins.
yeah.
was
Patty
gonna-
Jenkins. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah, and the
I'll try not to cry myself to sleep tonight.
I
don't
have
make
to
any
say that's
promises.
probably one of the least anticipated ones that I had on my list. Being a Star
It's-
Wars fan of everything and anything.
It was kind of funny because I read something briefly the other day where it was all like, oh, there hasn't been a Star Wars movie in like, whatever, how many years now?
4 or 5.
4 or 5, and like they're like, oh my god. I'm like, oh, am
Has it
I
really
the
been that
only?
long?
It was
Yeah.
before COVID. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like
I-
5, maybe 6.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because it's been just nonstop deluge of like Star Wars shows.
Solo
I
was the
didn't
last
realize.
one, right?
No, that
Or did that come out before the what was the 9th movie called? Why am I blanking?
Solo was
Skywalker?
5 years ago in 2018, and Rise of Skywalker came out in 2019. So it's
Alright.
been four. It'll be close to 5 years, since we had a Star Wars movie, and I thought it was hilarious that so many people were writing and being incredulous about that. Because I'm like, pull up a chair, young one, and let me tell you
Yeah.
all about the dark times when
All we
the only Star Wars movies we thought we were ever going to truly get
Even
were
TV
what's
wise,
now known as the original trilogy, and a couple of Ewok films that came out that
I have them
Yeah.
on DVD.
well,
yeah,
they're
even,
lovely.
even before that, in the 80s,
Caravan of Courage and
I remember in the 80s, it was rumored that George Lucas was going to make 12 movies. And we were all excited for that. We were just off to high a Return of the Jedi. It was
yeah.
we're going to get so many more movies. It's going to be awesome. And then we
Oh,
got so many
me
movies,
and my
and it
friends
wasn't
even
awesome.
came up with ideas of what they were going to be about.
I
Never had
legitimately,
the-
I really hope that all you Star Wars like hardcore like diehards out there, like truly understand that what you've seen with the glut of Star Wars movies / IPs that have been thrown out and just there for all consumption is almost the best example of too much of a good thing is terrible that you could ever come across.
We did get some gems out of it. Like Mandalorian is so fucking good. This week's
really
episode
is.
was
Oh, I
friggin'
haven't
amazing.
watched this week's. Hush. No. I forgot that it came out last night.
It was good. I don't know why Leo's getting all.
It was really good.
It was good. But I mean,
Hey,
I didn't get to the end of it, and I was
that
like,
if we talk about the space whales, we're spoiling something.
yeah, it's true. They're actually advanced, hyper intelligent aliens. Are they really?
Really?
Are you sure about that? Vulcans never lie. Yes, Spock lied.
Leo tried to
He
argue
omitted.
with that.
Spock omitted. He did not lie.
That is called the lie of omission.
Yeah.
Leo. That is actually
The
what
lie.
that's called. The
I know,
lie
I
of
know, I
omission.
know, but I'll find a movie quote.
Like you can call it whatever you want. It's still a lie. So
I'm just saying that was that's what he said in the movie. I was trying to replicate what Spock said.
Whatever helps him sleep at night, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. That really revs my CPAP, baby.
I'm pretty sure it was Star Trek 4.
Almost
The
100%
voyage,
certain.
huh?
Where Kirk had to retrain him to like be more
Spockish.
Oh,
yeah.
Speaking of Star Trek, let's go back to Star Wars.
Yeah.
So was there any other news that we're dealing with here? Any good announcements, or is it all just doom and gloom for all 7 people that were looking forward to those particular projects?
Yeah, just doom and gloom from what I see right now.
You better say Steven's joke there. You know, Alderaan things and Alderaan places. No.
Oh, you know what threw me off? Yeah. It threw me off because now that you say that it's a joke, I see that it's a joke, but I'm just so used to jokes being funny that I didn't even register. Oh, see, that's how you do it, kids.
Zing.
I'm just kidding. It's a solid pun. It really is. It's a lot harder to do than a liquid pun.
I see a lot of potential, and I can see where they could be building up to something huge in the season for Boba Fett. Not Boba Fett. Mandalorian.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, you're really gonna need to fucking shore that shit right up, buddy. If you keep saying Boba Fett, I'm gonna fucking turn off halfway through these conversations. I don't mean leave. I just mean
they did go back to Tatooine. They could have ran into him. Stop by.
Yeah, I will say I was.
Spoiler.
Wait, hold on. Oh yeah,
they've been to Tatooine like every episode so far.
That's true. Yeah. Well, it took me a second. I was like, "When the?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is current." Yeah, that's not really a spoiler, honestly.
I feel like I would ultimately find it so fucked up if they did like a 2.5 episode arc of Book of Boba Fett.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, it would.
I mean, I could see the writers room on that one. Like, listen, guys and gals, we have made the season of this show so far way too interesting and engaging. What do you say we break that up and throw like an episode and a half to 2 episodes of like Boba Fett in there? That way we can really like even out everybody's high running emotions and attachment to this. So they remember it's just a show, and they'll be able to deal with the season finale and not seeing us again for like another year, because Boba Fett is the real fucking cooler. He is the William H. Macy to fucking Alec Baldwin's Casino in this shit. Like it's bad. Like Boba Fett at this point. I mean, I never got a fucking Boba boner the way a lot of other folks have over the years. But yeah,
boner.
Boner. But holy shit. What yeah, well you're the one.
Yeah.
And
all by yourself there, Leo. Jar all the way.
That show was what the Spanish would call El Terrible.
Although I did watch the show and I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah.
It was horrible, but it was good. I mean, I got what's his name riding a Rancor, like that was.
I mean, that was
all right, fucking Leo and fucking Leo Jr. over here.
Hey.
Listen, it's okay to say that you like parts of a thing, but can we please remember that the couple of good parts in a thing do not comprise the entirety of it, and therefore raise its quality altogether? That is the same argument I've gotten into with other things. You know, the best example I've ever come across, it's so solid to me, is I had a friend make me watch the horror movie Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. And that's great that he was like giddy about it. I sat and watched it with him. It was an hour and a half long movie. And the last like 15 to 20 minutes of it, they really poured all their technical skill and special effects right into it, and it's a great like proof of concept for 15 to 20 minutes. But when I finished watching the movie, I straight up turned to him and I said, that sucked. That movie was not good, man. You just wasted 90 minutes of my life. I could have read a few chapters of a book that I won't pick up again after an hour and a half. I'd still rather do that than what we just did. And he was like, straight up, didn't miss a beat. He goes, the last like 20 minutes of that movie is great. I'm like, what about the other fucking 70, dude? 70 minutes.
You need the 71st minutes to get to
No,
those 20
you
minutes.
don't.
It makes you appreciate.
You literally
It's a
could have
slow
been like,
burn.
hey, this is the slow burn. Okay.
It makes you appreciate the time that you have living after that.
Left on this planet.
A fucking
Makes you realize how precious it is because you're never gonna get it back.
Never. It's gone.
It's like I would
a smoldering dump truck creeping through a nitroglycerin plant is a slow burn. Okay, that shit was. It felt like it was moving so slow that I legitimately wanted to check to make sure that we hadn't started moving backwards in time since we had started watching it. It was not great. The makeup and everything at the end, the special effects, I will readily admit, look good. Juice, squeeze, not worth it. No. And my point being,
not even a little bit.
A few things in a thing do not make the entirety of that thing even good. It just means it's worth it to see those few things. Wildly different.
I like that.
You can go with that, but I will go with it.
I will go with that.
Everybody has their own opinions,
and some of them are wrong, and that's okay, Leo.
I will say most of the opinions are wrong.
Yes, most of the opinions that aren't mine are like wildly erroneous.
Oh, I disagree with that though.
You would, because your opinion is wrong.
Exactly.
Well, anyway, I enjoyed Boba Fett. I'm loving Mandalorian, and I can, I hope they're gonna go the way I think they're gonna go. I don't want to spoil anything.
It's speculation, so how could you be spoiling it?
Okay. Well, one of them involves the last 5 seconds of this week's episode.
Well, if you're worried about that, then don't say that.
I'm not going to say that, but I'm going to say that Mando is going to reunite the Mandalorians, both from his cult and the other Mandalorians that are all scattered.
I'd say sect.
Yes, sect. She considers him a cult.
But Bo-Katan is also kind of an asshole. So
yes, she is.
She considers them a cult. Oh, you mean the deposed royalty considers the people that hold more power in the society that they developed a cult? Yeah, it's a real puzzler. I wonder why.
Well, anyway, I believe he's going to reunite the Mandalorians. They're going to come back to Mandalore. I think we're possibly going to see Ezra. I think that's a big possibility. That may lead into Thrawn.
I hear Thrawn is possibly supposed to be in this.
Let's pretend for a second,
that
a listener, a watcher, a viewer, an audience member right now for this show, the Midweek Geeks, has never read any of the novels or comic book series that had been produced by Dark Horse and other publishers before Disney purchased Lucasfilm and therefore the entirety of the Star Wars intellectual property. Let's just pretend that person is listening. Who the fuck is Ezra?
He's better than
Ezra is another Jedi. He was in the show Rebels.
Yes.
and he went missing. It is thought that he may be like stuck in time, and I think that had something to do with the space whales that we saw, which I think
thought you were
their
gonna
correct
say
name are
Speed Force.
Purgles. So the Purgles are responsible for getting rid of Thrawn.
The what?
The
The
Purgles,
Purgles?
space whales, the space whales.
Oh, that wasn't. You weren't just being cute. Okay, all right, got it. I thought you were just making a snarky Star Trek reference in the middle of Star Wars talk, and because that's how I live my life.
I could be totally mispronouncing the name, but yeah, the space whales.
You could be pronouncing it perfectly. I
could.
don't know, Leo. Okay, listen. Full disclosure, I'm the audience member. I don't know any of that shit, guys. I know I was like really clever in how I set that whole thing up, but it's me. Audience member, me. I am audience member. Okay, I don't know shit. People are like, why didn't you read the books or the comics? I'm like, because it's a fucking movie series, and that's all I gave a shit about.
Oh no, this is from the cartoons.
Yeah,
same principle. Straight up.
See,
Wait, why didn't you watch the cartoon?
Ezra.
Because
I didn't watch.
I didn't care.
Rebels, but Ezra's like the new Jedi protege of Ahsoka, right?
correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
And
didn't she
kinda
not
like a
actually
Padawan.
finish
I was
her
about to say
Jedi
that.
training?
Well, true. That's why, and she's kind of against the whole Jedi. She's a gray Jedi, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Is that right?
yeah,
Gray
yeah.
Jedi.
Yeah. You know, the
I've
different
read that
sects.
stupid fucking Gray Jedi oath, and I'm like, so no one who read this and like gives it a thumbs up or a fucking heart reaction and shit. Like no one has like a thesaurus or a dictionary at home. Because like I remember seeing it and it was popping up everywhere for a good solid couple of years, especially in the thick of the sequel trilogy. And I'm like, it's literally saying the same thing, but with synonyms in like 3/4 of that Gray Jedi oath. And I'm like, why don't you just say like, I don't get mad about stuff, but I don't really like stuff really much either.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's pretty much it. I'm like, oh, so you're on Zoloft. That's a Gray Jedi. It's
Pretty much,
fucking,
yeah.
it's
No
a-
feeling.
It's a person who sees a therapist, has a lightsaber, and takes fucking Zoloft.
So a 40-year-old My Chemical Romance fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so me, apparently. I'm a Gray Jedi.
But yeah, she gave up the being the Padawan of Vader.
Yoink. Oh, it was Vader? I thought it was Luke.
Yeah.
No, she was the Padawan of Vader, Anakin. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Let me see here. Hold on. Carrie said Stoics. I mean, on the face of it, I guess you could say kind of Stoicism, but I mean, isn't Stoicism directly about the endurance of hardship without displaying feelings? And
It's not without displaying feelings. It's more of like not letting your feelings dictate things a lot.
And maybe it is Stoicism because it's like without displaying feelings, without complaint. But I mean, I feel like without complaint is the same thing as without feelings. Once again, it's sort of the same thing. But yeah, I guess it kind of follows a little bit of a line. It could run, adjacent to Stoicism. But once again, like if that's something that is a thing, all this Gray Jedi stuff where people have these cool oaths and what have you, just stop getting your back tattoos with it, and just let Dave Filoni write something better because literally like I see that and it's not even like the idea of it, like you do you get whatever I've literally seen people get that shit tattooed on them, and I'm like,
tattoo appointment.
The fucking the goddamn repetition and redundancy in that little written blurb about Gray Jedis, it's fucking horrid. Like I see it, I'm like, I understand what happened here. The coolness of the idea of such a thing overwhelmed your ability to think critically about what it was in front of your face. Every time. It's like seeing a tattoo on the wall, misspelled no regrets, and still saying that's the one I want. I want it right here, like right on the side of the neck.
So the whole gray Jedi, like she didn't proclaim herself a gray Jedi. She just said she did not agree with the Jedi teachings.
Yeah, because it's not a canon
lightsaber.
thing. Like
Yeah.
it's a fan thing. Gray Jedi. It's not
Yeah.
in Star Wars.
Yeah, no.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
That's why I said just let Dave Filoni write something because it'll be better. Like,
Yeah, I think they might have mentioned it in one of the sequels.
in what sequel?
Not Force Awakens, the one after that.
Last Jedi?
Last Jedi?
Might have been.
I don't recall that.
Yeah,
I want to say, like, I really don't care if Kathleen Kennedy is like pretty much what the hell's the word? The person
President?
for no, yes, I know she's the president, but like the protege of Lucas, like she needs to be ousted. I don't think she's making amazing choices.
I don't agree with you at all.
Okay.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
So
I mean,
what
you're saying like she didn't make great choices, but I mean, Force Awakens was a hit. Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, it really depends on who you talk to.
So what I was trying to say is get rid of Kathleen Kennedy and bring.
You do realize she's the one that greenlit all these shows that everybody loves now, right?
Yeah.
So
but
how would no. But wait, hold on.
I'm sorry.
You're saying like she needs to be ousted, but she's actually had far more hits with everything that they've been doing than misses.
I feel like Dave Filoni knows where that's where I was getting at is put.
And she hired him.
Yes, but I mean, he should go above her.
No, because she hired him.
I get
that's the see, like once again, like I don't understand this hate on Kathleen Kennedy because all of the right moves that get made are made because she makes a decision to let those people come in and make like the creative choices they're going to make. And when it works, everyone's fucking high-fiving each other and like getting ready to jerk off over how much they love Star Wars. But the tiniest fucking thing goes wrong and they're like, she's fucking destroying it. It's like, but you realize you got all this fucking good shit that you love right now at the same time because of the same person. So you can't have it both ways. If we're going to talk about the things that got screwed up, unfortunately, with a whole new model of approaching this based on what Disney wanted to do, then let's look at the stuff that worked too. And let's not forget that Lucasfilm is owned by Disney. And even though she is the president of Lucasfilm itself, she still has to answer to the CEO of the Walt Disney Picture Company. And they ultimately are the ones who make any decisions about what to do going forward. I don't think the push for Solo and other, the other movies came from Kathleen Kennedy. I think if we're going to look at it, it's, oh, hey, why did Bob Iger and his people do that? If we're talking about ousting people because of poor decisions being made, let's look at the people really at the top, like the guy who retired and now just came back again. Everybody has their fair share of shit that they can jump in and say like, yeah, I helped contribute to the great stuff there. I also contributed to the fuck up. For everybody who likes to scream and cry about Solo, Kathleen Kennedy is also the same person who greenlit Rogue One. She greenlit The Force Awakens, and then we got Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi, and we had J.J. Abrams come back because they realized they needed to correct course. I mean, not for nothing, she didn't do anything any different. And this is coming from somebody who absolutely despises what Rian Johnson did with The Last Jedi.
Pretty sure everybody does.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of people that fucking love it. A lot of people that love it. And I understand the appeal of subversion, but there is a difference between subversion and completely negating any setup that came beforehand. But there was no difference in the model approach to how those movies were being made. than how they were done with the original trilogy. You know, George Lucas directed A New Hope, and then he stepped back and let other directors take care of the next two movies and let them make the decisions they were going to make for them. That's exactly what they did for Rian Johnson. That's exactly why they called J.J. Abrams back in. I don't think it was a Lucasfilm call to have J.J. Abrams come back for Rise of the Skywalker. I think that was Disney. You know, so let's just look at everything. For every bad thing, yeah, okay, I get it. That sucks. But like, this is the same woman who greenlit The Mandalorian, the same woman who greenlit Andor, the same woman who greenlit The Bad Batch. All these things that people love that have come from the new Star Wars.
Wait. Are you admitting somebody loves Andor?
I thought that was kind of.
Yeah, one of them is on the show right now, Leo.
Just to back up a second, you know, not ousting Kathleen, but I could see, if you're looking at like the structure and failures of other companies like DC, where a lot of the higher ups had forced their changes into the movies that caused a lot of issues. Looking at what Marvel does, where you have Kevin Feige just like have full control over the entire universe. He knows everything that's going on and, you know, plot all the strings together. I think if you bring, you know, push Dave Filoni up where he has, you know, more of a grander view of the entire Star Wars universe, working, you know, hand in hand with Kathleen, because he's done an incredible job with Mandalorian, and I'd love to see him like do more with the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, you could easily set up a position that's like chief story officer. You know what I mean? Like somebody to wrangle.
My whole opinion on the whole thing, maybe it shouldn't be to get rid of Kathleen Kennedy, but essentially to put Dave Filoni in creative control. Exactly what Leo just said. Like, Dave Filoni is probably the best thing to happen to Star Wars since Lucas.
Yeah, I mean,
I
would say Lawrence Kasdan is probably the single greatest thing to happen between George Lucas and Dave Filoni, because Lawrence Kasdan wrote The Empire Strikes Back.
Okay, I don't fully agree with you, but I don't disagree.
Well, I mean, A New Hope is a great movie to introduce like that world, but Empire Strikes Back, that's when that story got fucking real.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
That's when, you know, there were actual more stakes than some fucking old weird hermit that wears a robe and talks about like fucking, you know, the past every goddamn minute his mouth is open, you know, and then dying in a heap of empty clothes all of a sudden. Oh yeah, that emotional beat that was
a pretty cool trick.
Yeah, I didn't even know you could do that with the Force. Where did he reappear? And but
plane.
What Lawrence Kasdan wrote that script. He is responsible for bringing a lot more emotional weight to the overall characters and story for what Star Wars could have been and was becoming at that point, and also gave us one of the best and most spoiled, but still best, twists in a movie that we've ever seen in American cinema.
Stop being right.
And that is, you killed my father.
No,
I am your father.
Wait,
no, like that is.
You know,
If you didn't fucking, if you never had any idea that was coming, I remember being a little guy seeing Empire for the first time and having my mind blown the fuck out of the back of my skull when Darth Vader says, "No, I am your father." And Luke just freaks out. And I remember like turning to my dad and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah." Like my dad is like, "Yeah, kid, this is old." Everybody knows, Brandon. Nobody but you cares.
I have to tell you, I so wanted to see Empire at the theater.
Me
was
too,
a
but I
Jedi
was,
at the
but I wasn't
theater.
born yet. So
I was alive. I saw the commercials. I wanted to see it, but my parents thought I would be too scared to see it
Oh,
for
I
some reason.
busted my eye at the theater and everything. We got in for free, got concessions. It was great. My parents weren't
Busted.
concerned that my eye was busted. They just wanted to get in to see the movie.
priorities, man, priorities. You know?
You
Theater
talk
was cool about it. They were just like, here, go in. Here's food and candy and stuff. Don't sue us, please.
Don't sue us. Here's an extra pack of snow caps.
Yeah.
you talk about emotions. You know, just the building of the original trilogy was just, you know, fantastical. You know, it holds a special place in all of our hearts. But then to go back to Mandalorian, and like when Luke came back,
that was
because
magical.
we had those emotions for the original trilogy. I friggin' bawled my eyes out when that happened.
Good for you.
Even
Leo.
thinking about it right now, like I'm getting misty eyed. Just like that episode, that scene, just friggin' amazing. I
love it when anybody is moved by anything like that. I feel like I'm an emotional, like, just I fall crying at everything. So like to hear other people.
See, I do the best I can to hold it in, you know, because men don't cry, you know. But
I ball.
I'm a man. I cry.
I cried like a bitch at the end of Ghostbusters Afterlife.
There you go.
Yeah, same here. But like I'm so
not,
fucked
but
up that
I will say I did actually cry, which was fully unexpected for me. Not that I don't cry, you know, and get moved by stuff, but when I saw The Force Awakens, when I sat down and watched that movie for the first time, like I genuinely, I was like so like happy by the end of it, and it was something that I genuinely had not felt about Star Wars in such a long time, that the nostalgia hit at the same time as being excited for new stuff, and like just sitting there like, damn, man, like this is fucking awesome. This is the first like brand new like sequel Star Wars movie. You know, we got the prequel stuff, and that's fine, but you knew what the end result was going to be of the prequel trilogy. I mean, Anakin was going to end up becoming Darth Vader by the end of it, and he and Padme were going to have a twin son and daughter. Like, there were certain things you just knew for a fact was going to occur. They had to, in order for the original trilogy to be what it was.
That being said, I couldn't get into Andor because I already knew the fate of Andor.
That's part of it for me too. I watched the first episode and I was like, yeah, but he dies, so like, why do I care about any of this?
Andor
like watching Black Widow.
They fill in so much story.
Yeah. Andor is about like story building. You know, it's
that just sounds like another way to say spinning your wheels and exploiting the IP. Like,
you're not wrong.
No, so I think
I'll take it though.
Oh, sorry,
and you'll like it.
No. So what Andor is doing, and they're going to tie it into Mandalorian. How Marvel has gone back and retconned some stuff to make some of their like less popular movies like relevant. You know, like Thor 2 or what was the other one?
What did they retcon in that one?
I'm intrigued by the words you are spouting out here.
They went back to that time in Avengers.
Oh yeah, in Endgame when they traveled, when Thor traveled back and he saw his mother again, and he had Natalie Portman all fucking sick with the ether, and
So so not really retcon, but like try to like, you know, repair some of the
well, I mean, not for nothing, they had to do that, and it's not like this is a real chance for us to. No, they actually had to go to Thor to Thor: The Dark World, because
That's
the
where the ether
point
was.
of the time heist was to get the Infinity
No,
Gem.
I know. I know it's yeah.
So it was gonna happen no matter what. I wouldn't expect them at that point to be like, just shit out the Thor Dark World stuff. Everyone expects that to be crap. We'll focus on the good things once we get past that. No, it was great that they took advantage of Thor's PTSD and how he physically affected him altogether. And I did think, honestly, in that scene, it was rather silly for his mother to be like, "You're not my Thor, though." And it's like, yeah, what gave it away? The fact that he's like fucking 70 pounds overweight. I mean, this is not like fucking talking about Einstein, Rosenberg bridges and fucking dissecting quantum physics, lady. It's an older, fat version of your son. Did you need to do out the long division on paper for that? Like, good job. Oh, so you're magic. You used your powers. Are your powers code for your eyes? Because
Obvious.
like, if I showed up the way I look now to my father 22 years ago,
My
he'd be like,
God.
"So you're Brandon like 20 years from now or something?" Like, how did you know? You're so perceptive, father. Like, well, yeah, perceptive in a way. I mean, I can see you though. Like, you get that, right? Like, I see you, and that information was translated through the rods and cones of my eyes and went to my brain, and then I automatically deduced, like, wait,
cortex.
My son is 19, and this looks like the guy who may have somehow like illegitimately knocked up my wife. Like, my son could be this guy's son. So you are obviously old Brandon. Did you travel back in time here? Wow, you're really on it, Dad. Like, that's the same shit you're talking about that happened in Thor: The Dark World.
Well, no, so what I'm trying to get at is
magical
them
Thor.
revisiting some of the older shows that weren't as popular. I think they're.
I mean, they didn't do Iron Fist yet, so I mean,
no, but so tying that back into Mandalorian and Andor, I think everything's eventually ending up to Palpatine.
why?
Everything
Why would
goes
they
to
do that?
Palpatine.
They've been
It was Palpatine all along.
They've been seeding it in. They've been seeding it in.
Maybe we can revisit the cool fucking.
Is Andor still on?
The
Is
Andor?
Andor still going?
Andor,
No.
they're working on season 2.
Okay.
But I mean, maybe we could revisit and fix the huge bombshell moment where it's revealed that Palpatine is back in the last part of the sequel trilogy, because I feel like we should, as dedicated audience members for this franchise that's been around for decades, maybe we're owed a little bit more than, and I believe I'm quoting, I think word for word, the explanation we got is Palpatine is back somehow, and that's it. That's what we got. After all of that, the last time we saw this fucking dude, he was getting thrown down a fucking like power shaft, thrown off sparks like he was a fucking defective joy buzzer that Darth Vader just chucked away from him.
I would have gone with like a spoon in the microwave, but
that's fair too. A defective 4th of July sparkler, whatever.
A plasma ball.
Yeah, so I think everything's building up to show us how Palpatine came back.
If they do that, I will completely revisit it. But I don't know. I tried watching the like 3rd and 4th episode of Andor, and I was like, that being said, the first episode was the fucking one of the best pieces of Star Wars I've seen. Like what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like espionage. And the shot, the way that he like.
I thought it was gonna stay with that too.
I think that's why I lost interest.
It kind of went all over the place, like then he
the type
goes
of show
on,
that it was.
Yeah, he goes on space vacation and gets thrown in jail, Then you have like the jailbreak and
Space vacation. Visual like
When on space
Everybody
vacation,
gets
be
thrown
sure to
in
visit
jail
Canto
on
Bight,
space vacay.
an otherwise useless planet that served no good purpose in the entirety of this franchise.
it came up in Mandalore.
What the fuck?
Mandalorian.
Who cares? Literally had no
They tied
bearing
the
on
shows
anything.
together.
They literally said the name of a planet. They could have plugged in any planet name, and through context, you would have understood what they meant.
Yeah. Actually, I think they referenced the casino.
Yeah, they could have literally said
Yeah.
the casino on fucking Artax 3. Who fucking cares?
bring back Jar Jar and I'm in.
Yeah. Bring him back.
Okay, we should change the subject. We've been
Yeah,
on-
let's move
yeah.
on to something.
Can I
different.
mention something?
Totally.
Steven said something about watching The Whale.
Oh, what a great movie.
I've tried. I love Darren Aronofsky movies. I turned it off.
Really?
Yeah,
I enjoyed the
Did you
hell
like
out of it.
Mother?
that's one of the only movies I haven't seen of his yet.
Oh, I would maybe not make such a sweeping statement that you love Darren Aronofsky movies. Then, how up are you? How up on your Judeo-Christian lore are you?
I'm gonna say 0.
Oh man, that could go either way for you. Then, honestly, I don't know, man. As somebody who was raised in a very very Catholic household by a theology major and having Ashkenazi Jewish ancestry as well, I was well versed in a lot of what Darren Aronofsky touches upon in Mother, and I found it to be insufferably tedious.
I mean, but that's him. Like, look at The Fountain. Look at
Yeah, no, I mean
Fountain
this
was tough.
for me watching Mother, and I understand this is the case actually for a lot of people. It's
That was work.
it was using all of the ideas and what have you with all of the subtlety of like having to cut a piece of butter for your bread with a fully powered jackhammer. Like it's just it's like you realize a butter knife would have worked probably better. Yeah, but look at how powerful this thing is. Yeah, I mean, I can't. You're not wrong. Okay, thanks, Darren. You know, it was just whatever. Watch the movie, and I'll be very interested to know what you think of it. I'll say that.
Mother for saying okay.
Mother, yes, Mother.
We'll come back next week and I'll have that.
All right, cool beans, cool beans. Yeah, I'll have to rewatch it, I guess. I did
And
this to myself.
I'll finish The Whale.
I did this to myself.
I liked it. I have to say the ending was a bit cheesy, but not horrible. I still cried.
I will say, like, I got bored and I did the ADHD thing where I looked at the ending.
Ooh.
So I do know what happens, and I
You
know it's
cheat watched it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Well, I mean,
don't mind doing that
speaking
at all.
of the incomparable Brendan Fraser and the fact that we have
You don't know
actually
how much
gotten,
I love correcting people now.
we have got. No, you're welcome. It's addictive, isn't it?
It is.
But
it's Fraser.
we actually have been getting a good amount of Brendan Fraser for a couple of years now because he has been playing the character and voice of Robot Man on Doom Patrol, which was started on DC Universe and then shifted to HBO Max when they shut down the video portion of that DC centric site. And that is ending with season 4. But also he was going to play Firefly, the Batman villain, in the canceled Batgirl movie that was being made for HBO Max. And you know, that's fun because in that same movie, it was likely that we were going to see Michael Keaton show up as Batman. And funny enough, Michael Keaton, I don't know if you guys realize this. I know some people, but Michael Keaton is actually going to be in The Flash that's coming out this summer as Batman.
Really?
I didn't know. Man.
Oh, look at that. Speaking of which.
Yeah. So
I
there's.
will say that the Flash. I haven't been on here since you guys talked about it, but like the new Flash trailer that came on the Super Bowl. Holy fuck!
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the Flash, man. I fucking
Did you guys see the thing from Funko kind of ruined who the villain is?
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
No, I did not see that.
I missed that, thankfully.
Okay, I won't say it then.
Yeah, and I'd like you to miss me with it right now.
I will.
Yeah, they also not Funko, but I think Hasbro.
I like I'm sorry, that's the first I've seen of this figure. I really like the yellow.
So here's the thing: these are statues, McFarlane statues.
Yep,
that's hilarious.
So it's like
that's
$50.
a fucking riot, dude. You mean to tell me that McFarlane took the most fluid moving character in the entire DC Comics canon?
No
And
articulation
literally
whatsoever.
made him a static figure.
That's hilarious.
Wonderful. No
I thought
sense
we
of
were all
irony in
about
McFarlane
more
toys.
articulation.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
I like the Batman, but mainly because it has it so that he can't move his neck.
Well, then you're in for a real treat with the cowl in the movie too.
12-inch statues.
Okay.
How much are they?
It does. Let's see. You can pre-order now.
Oh, $40.
Oh,
Not-
okay.
I will be pre-ordering.
I thought they were going to be like $60, $80. Yeah.
I'm more interested in the Flash one, to be perfectly honest. I mean, not for me personally, and it's not a knock on Batman. It's just more along the lines of like, I've had Michael Keaton as Batman. There have been movies that he played the character around for decades. I have never gotten a The Flash theatrical movie before. And certainly, you know, what we have gotten regarding that character has been nowhere near the scope of what this film is attempting to achieve. So, yeah, far more excited overall about The Flash than anything Batman related. Although if I find one more dipshit online who insists that Michael Keaton is actually going to be playing Thomas Wayne in this movie,
Oh, God.
I'm gonna reach through the internet and fucking choke him out. I swear to Christ.
Where is their basis on this?
Oh, I believe it's idiocy. Like,
I agree, but like
trying to manifest it into reality. Like, if I hope hard enough, it'll be the case. That's all I got. Because
dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, it's so dumb.
Check this out.
Holy shit, I want it.
I know.
That's impressive.
Oh my god.
Meanwhile, it's stately Wayne Manor.
The head needs to go back. I hope it's articulate. Yep,
That's
it does.
interesting. Those look like they have the villain layers over at Target. Oh yeah, it is a Target special.
Yeah.
And it's only
they
$35
have all the.
Yes.
They have a Batcave one too.
No, they have like it's all 60s style.
That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like.
Oh,
the
they do have a
60s
Batcave.
Yeah.
I
thought I saw
They
one.
must, 'cause
I
it's
thought I
right
saw
there.
one this weekend in Salem when I went to Harrison's Comics and Collectibles. I mean, I could be wrong. It might have been a different design thing.
Yeah, it might have came out earlier.
I mean, I can't wait for McFarlane to make Keaton's nipple mobile.
Oh.
The Bat Boat.
Yay!
Oh, look,
finally.
they have a King Tut figure. I
Yeah.
did not know that. I might pick
Well,
that up.
These are all pre-orders. So this is the new line coming out, or the new figures coming out.
Oh, they'll hit the stores. Target's pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like they do have a 66 TV series Batcave 6-inch playset from McFarlane Toys.
I was just looking, yeah.
Let me see. Here.
Shit, somebody just said something about something, and it reminded me to talk about it.
But not well enough for you to remember.
No,
that it reminded you.
something about something, and it reminded you.
Well,
we should try that again.
For me,
Batcave 66
Flash. Oh,
I got.
he'll save every one of us.
Once we're done, I'll end up going upstairs and being like, "Fuck."
Oh,
story of my life.
There was some video of Joker 2 filming.
Yep.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'd be the luckiest guy in the world that fucking did it for me.
The scene's pretty basic. It just shows him running down the street and avoiding he's being chased by another Joker.
Cool.
Another one.
So is this going to be like Todd Phillips' Joker version of like the French Connection or something this time instead of being Taxi Driver? I'm just curious. It's like it's not, it's all right, but I mean, really, by the time I got to the end of Joker, I was like, okay,
I'm one of those people that I didn't watch it.
This is Travis Bickle. I mean, this is nothing new. Living in his own head and creating fucking scenarios to get upset about. Yeah, all right, sure.
It's just not what I want in my Joker. I want cartoony comic book stuff if you're gonna give me comic book stuff.
I didn't honestly appreciate the connection to the Wayne family for Arthur Fleck in Joker. Like, that was my biggest thing. Like, I don't need the Joker to be Bruce Wayne's illegitimate older half brother. I'm good.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
I will never forget about that because my jaw had to be like scraped up off the floor in the theater, and not in a fucking good way. I was just like,
is there any comic book that implied that anywhere?
No.
No.
I didn't think so.
The closest, one of the few things I've seen where they've played with that kind of thing, and it's not even with Bruce Wayne being around, was the Flashpoint miniseries that was done with Thomas Wayne as Batman, because Bruce was the one who was killed by Joe Chill in Crime Alley that night. And you find out the Joker was Martha, and the way that she became Martha, the look of her and everything was fucking brilliant. I will give them that. Like, she put her hand up to her face covered in Bruce's blood, and she had a complete breakdown right there, and she just couldn't stop laughing and crying at the same time. And when she finally pulled her hand away from her face, the bloody print left from the angle of her hand. It left the like red smile, and that became like her go-to trademark. And I thought that was pretty brilliant. But like, Batman being related to the Joker in that regard, okay, I'll buy that. But meh, I'm good. Like, you had to know it wasn't reality anyway. How would a dude like Arthur Fleck pull fucking Zazie Beetz? Give me a fucking break, dude.
We are getting some new movies at the theater this week. Finally, 65. That comes out this week.
I'm still kind of like a bad Turok movie. That's basically what it is, right?
I think this is going to be a breakout hit.
I think it's being made by people who were like, hey, what if like all those Jurassic Park / World sequels that were made were better? And that's all I got, because I still am wildly indifferent, and that's not a knock on anybody involved. I like Adam Driver. I respect that Sam Raimi is producing it, but
So it's let's see.
Just give me a Turok movie. Just saying.
It's directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, written by Scott Beck and Brian Woods. So Scott Beck is known for A Quiet Place, Haunt,
Nika
and The
King's part of
Boogeyman.
it too.
What's that?
That's cool. Nika King is part of it. That's pretty cool. No?
Oh,
No
so
idea.
Brian Woods is also A Quiet Place as well.
Oh, Nika King's from like Euphoria and a few other.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
yeah. I have not seen Euphoria at all. That's not, once again, not a knock on it. It's just
Really crazy show. Like one of my kids turned me onto it, and like
yeah. I mean, I was gonna say, like, the thing is, you
Intense.
also have like younger
yeah,
generation in your household, so
yes, it would be kind of strange for most of you guys to take in some of
like,
those
yeah, man, I'm
shows
really
that
digging all these teenagers doing drugs and just fucked up shit all the time. Yeah, why? I don't know. No reason.
Boobs.
It's just fun.
boobs.
I really
No,
like that.
there some of
Really
those
like that
shows are
Zendaya girl. She's
crazy.
great. I really appreciate how she was a Disney kid and now she's playing like a drugged up asshole on HBO. That's fun.
Brandon, I gotta ask: is the Flashpoint Paradox a good movie?
The cartoon movie.
The animated movie that Warner Brothers did. It's okay. It is.
Is that what you were talking about with the Martha Wayne thing, or
Yeah,
Is that it?
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it because the visual you gave me was.
I think they may touch upon that slightly within it. The comic itself, though, Flashpoint
Oh,
was like 6 or 8 issue. That was the miniseries, but it had several like 2-part series that were all tied in. You had like the Batman stuff, and then Ambush Bug was one of them, for crying out loud. You had Superman, and that dealt with like the kind of stuff that you're gonna see Kara going through in the movie The Flash. Just like how different characters and the viewpoints that they deal with, showing how their portion of this world was so radically changed when Barry went back and prevented the murder of his mother. So you get like a much more well-rounded view of what it's like everywhere and for everyone. The Flashpoint Paradox animated movie, it has to truncate so much. It has to abbreviate the entirety of that story to make it fit and palatable for like a 90-minute runtime or so.
Okay.
It's not a bad animated movie. There is a lot of nuance that is missed. I will say that, especially regarding I don't even know how to say his name. Thawne. Fucking Zoom, Professor Zoom,
Eobard
the Reverse Flash. Eobard Thawne, yeah.
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 Because he's the one that is responsible for Barry's mother's murder. And there's so much history between the two of them. And in the comics, they really play on that, and it's not really done in the animated movie, because there's certain things that you've never seen for the Flash before that. So it wouldn't make sense to use certain things to drive, like, in Flashpoint, it's like, oh, it turns out he killed my mom and I'm going to stop it from happening. But like, part of the reason for this is like, one, yeah, okay, Barry just wants this bad thing to not ever happen in his life. In the comics, though, it's more of like, I'm done with Zoom doing this kind of shit, because Eobard Thawne had straight up already murdered Iris West on their wedding day previously, at which point there was a whole bunch of comic book tomfoolery and shenanigans that ended up showing like she didn't actually die at the last second. She was saved, this, that, and the other thing. But like, Barry went through some really fucking hard stuff for a while, because Professor Zoom showed up and was like, yep, I killed your wife, haha. And then Barry eventually loses it because Zoom shows up and he's going to do the same thing to another woman that Barry fell in love with. And he chases him and he grabs Zoom as they run, and Zoom stops short on purpose and lets Barry break his neck and forces it to the point where Barry has to get complete reconstructive surgery to change who he looks like so he can not let anybody know he ever was Barry Allen as the Flash, protecting all the people he still knew in his old life. And he goes on trial for the murder of Professor Zoom. Like, this dude has been fucking with Barry Allen for years. And Barry finally just reaches a point where he's like, no, you know what? I'm going to negate all of it and keep this one terrible thing from happening, and everything else will be fine from that point. And that's how Flashpoint comes about. It's like, oh, what do they say about the road to hell? It's paved with good intentions. And once you see the world of Flashpoint, yeah, that is the almost literal hell that road leads to. It's rough stuff. So I imagine that they distilled as much of that as they could from the comic book series to put up on screen. So if you want to use it as sort of a touchstone, I would say go for it. It'll give you broad strokes. And if you're interested in the comic books, talk to Fearless Leota over here. We can figure something out.
I'm looking at the comic from that exact page where he like stops short.
Yeah,
it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about some of the time.
I didn't think you did, and I was just...
No, I mean the Flash was like one of my favorite superheroes as a kid, and for me personally, the biggest, it's a mixed bag because like I'm glad that this is happening, and I get Barry Allen being the Flash and all this, but you have to understand Barry Allen. He sacrificed himself to save all of reality in Crisis on Infinite Earths, which reset everything. It got rid of like all the Silver Age stuff, Superman having like every fucking power that you've ever heard of, and brought everybody to like a realistic level insofar as the like marvelous things they could do. Barry Allen, though, he sacrificed himself, and Wally West, Kid Flash, reluctantly took up the mantle of the Flash with the support of other people around him, the other heroes, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and he grew into the role. He found himself having to navigate certain life choices that Barry never had to worry about. Barry Allen's a scientist. He was a forensic scientist for the Central City Police Department. Wally West is a gearhead. The reason he became Kid Flash was because he was the head of his town's Flash fan club. He was the only member of the Flash fan club. And of course, he got to meet the Flash in person because his aunt, Iris, was able to use her connections at the newspaper to get in touch with the Flash and set up a meetup. Really, it was like, Barry, can you please go hang out with my fucking nephew? He loves you. And he's like, yeah, I'll put on the suit and take the kid out for a little bit. And Barry just shows, oh yeah, well, you see, I got zapped in a lab much like this, and these same types of chemicals, the electricity came through, and the chemicals were arranged like this on a shelf. And like no sooner did he finish putting the last like beaker full of chemicals on the shelf in the position it would have been in when he got zapped, then lightning straight up strikes again and hits Wally, and he finds himself with the same super speed abilities that Barry had. And after Barry died, it turns out Wally didn't quite have the same powers. He couldn't run faster than the speed of sound, and he tried to vibrate through solid objects like his uncle used to. But whenever he did it, the things would blow the fuck up afterwards. So he's like, I guess I won't do that then, unless I need to blow stuff the fuck up. There was a huge learning curve, and it happened over many, many years. And when he finally was the Flash, I mean, he's married and he's got kids, and he he has a whole Flash family with Jay Garrick and Max Mercury and Impulse, who's Barry Allen's great grandson from the future, and all this stuff. And Jeff Johns came back and was like, "Hey, you know who was really cool when I was a kid? It was Barry Allen. I want to bring him back." And that's what they fucking did. And they had a whole thing, the Flash Rebirth, and it effectively pushed Wally off to the sidelines and made Barry the Flash again. And I really don't think that the character has
For the
gotten
longest time, he was stuck in the Speed
Speed
Force,
Force.
right?
That's what
Yeah,
the
that's what they
conceit
said.
was.
How they explained
That's
it.
how
yeah.
they explained that he
Yep.
came back. But like, and they made it seem like, oh, he was stuck in the Speed Force. It's so cool that he came back. However, in the years since, when Mark Waid, who's a phenomenal comic book writer, and he may as well be an encyclopedia of Justice League of America all the way back to the Silver Age, he actually came up with the idea of the Speed Force. And Wally is the first speedster out of the numerous ones over the centuries who ever touched the Speed Force and came back. And this is canon. This was in the comics. It turns out the only reason that a speedster stays in the Speed Force when he feels called to it is because they want to stay. And so it was a nice way of saying, like, Barry met his reward when he sacrificed himself. The Speed Force says, no, hey, come here. That's all over with. You're not in pain anymore. Stick around here if you want. And Barry was like, yeah, you know what? I think I will. And that's like Valhalla for speedsters. And I think it did a great disservice to the character and his legacy and everything that Wally had accomplished. The only, for me, saving grace at this point is, all right, I get the importance of having Barry Allen be the Flash in the movies that we're getting theatrically. It would be too difficult to deal with legacy in Wally West without having anything about why he became Flash overall. So there's a lot of great Flash stuff out there. Zoom is always one that I thought was like just absolutely bug nuts insane as a villain. Guy from the far future who's obsessed with the Flash figures out how to increase the Speed Force like residue in one of Barry's old Flash suits that he took from the Flash Museum and uses the suit itself to give himself super speed. That's how he moves as fast as he does. And he gets plastic surgery to make himself look just like Barry Allen from the past. And he is overall like the Reverse Flash. But like that was his thing. He was always Professor Zoom, the Reverse Flash. And it's gotten so like obfuscated over the years. If you say Zoom to certain people, they're like, oh yeah, so like that dude, blah blah blah. No, that's not who I fucking mean at all.
It's Tony Todd.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the guy sounds like Tony Todd. Nope, that ain't it, kid. Nice try though. E for effort. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of stuff that you could touch upon story wise that'll probably thematically be the kind of stuff that they're looking to gear this character towards in the movies. Not necessarily in this one, but moving forward. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of stuff by Mark Waid and Grant Morrison worked their way into the mix, especially Grant Morrison stuff like The Human Race. It's a great storyline. But yeah, like Zoom's a real dick, and he honestly should show up at some point in this movie. They really need to drive home the fact that it was this yellow-clad speedster who killed Barry's mom. And whoever, just have him be like the looming threat to be visited at another point in time, no pun intended. And have it be, something else in this movie. I think I have an idea of who the villain may be in this movie, and it makes sense.
I won't tell you who do you think?
I think it's a version of Barry.
Okay.
I think that the villain is going to straight up eventually end up being like, you're gonna think that the villain is going to be Zoom, and probably by the end of it turns out the real villain is going to be one of those alternate versions of Barry, because with fixing everything / not fixing everything, it's a whole road's not taken. So that means you will literally have a Barry that gets his powers from our Barry showing up and telling him, hey, if this happens to you, you'll become the Flash. But then not being able to save their mother in his reality or whatever, it causes him to blame our Barry, and that's why he becomes like obsessed with stopping him and stopping everything that's happening, because he's doing the same thing our Barry is doing. If I go back and I fix it, then that means I won't ever have to deal with this. But who knows how many times he's had to Groundhog Day that shit, and he may well have lost his mind. That's what I'm thinking. I'm basically the kid that he shows up and tells, hey, you're the Flash, you're another version of me, you're going to get these superpowers. I think that kid is who the bad guy is going to be by the end of the movie.
So what you're saying is the real villain is the villains we made along the way.
No, the real villain is the friends we made along the way.
Last news item I have, this is for you, Jar Jar.
Just for me?
Well, this is
You wrapped it in everything.
Carrie says Brandon verse.
Hashtag Brandon verse. Fucking.
You're getting a shirt made, Brandon.
Yeah.
That's
Kevin,
my secret. I'm always having a shirt made. Wait.
Looks like Kevin Smith has hired Melissa Benoist to be the new Tila.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So
fun.
in the TV show?
The cartoon. Revolution. Revolution. The new one that's going to be made.
That means Sarah Michelle Gellar show?
Yeah.
Yep.
What happened there?
We have no idea. Probably conflict in scheduling. It happens.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and he was probably looking for a way to get her there because he worked a lot with her.
Well, not that I dislike Sarah Michelle Gellar, but I'm happy somebody, because she uses her regular voice to voice Tila, and it really you can tell it's Sarah Michelle Gellar. So I'm happy.
I just think it's kind of cool that the voices of Tila and He-Man are a married couple with a kid in real life. Because Chris Wood is the voice of Adam and He-Man, and they met on the set of Supergirl because he played Mon-El.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they both became friends with Kevin Smith because he came in and directed episodes of Supergirl. Funny enough, the first episode of Supergirl that Kevin Smith directed, I believe, was an episode entitled Supergirl Lives. Which if you don't quite get why that's like tee wink nudge nudge moment, Kevin Smith wrote the script Superman Lives, which was going to be initially
an interesting script if anybody's read it
for Tim Burton. I mean, I'll say this: he tried to go by the criteria that was provided him for that movie, and thank God it didn't get made.
The real question is, did he to honor that? Did he put a big spider in the episode?
You know what? I don't recall. I do know his daughter was in it. Harley Quinn Smith.
His daughter's in everything. Since she's been born, she's been in everything.
Have you seen Clerks 3?
Oh, yeah. I did cry like a bitch with that movie, too.
Yeah, me too. I absolutely did in the theater. Like, what a phenomenal metaphor at the very end of it, honestly.
If anybody hasn't seen that's in here right now, you need to watch it because
you owe it to yourself if you like Clerks. I'm not talking about...
Yeah,
I'm the last person.
I haven't watched it either.
We'll watch it together.
Hey, you're not the last person.
I do have the special steelbook from Best Buy though.
You got the steelbook and you didn't even, or of Clerks.
Of Clerks 3.
Really? And you still haven't watched it?
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, I will say if you're a fan of Clerks, like the first movie in particular, and Kevin Smith's stuff generally speaking, like for the View Askew universe, you owe it to yourself to see Clerks 3. It's good to have seen Clerks 2 just for like some tangential knowledge, but
I watched it. I got tricked.
Yeah, Clerks 2 is not one of my favorite. I would still rather watch Clerks 2 than Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
True.
I was so mad when I went to see Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Words failed me.
But it has Mark Hamill in it.
Apoplectic is the fucking best word to describe how I felt. I was enraged because up until the point where they did Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, even Mallrats, like the 4 movies leading up to it, all had substance. And Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
No, I totally get it.
Yeah, I'm not exaggerating. I was indignant in my anger.
What's even funnier is the second thing is as extremely indignant.
Yeah, I have a pretty decent vocabulary.
I tried. That's a good one for me.
But yeah,
I fake it.
The cartoonishness and overall goofiness, I feel like it really undercut a lot of the gravitas that you saw take place in Clerks, Chasing Amy, and Dogma. And Clerks the animated series.
Dogma.
Yeah, I mean, I have a copy of Dogma on Blu-ray.
Dogma's like.
I think Dogma is. I'm not saying it's my favorite, but I think Dogma is his best film. It's one.
Totally agree.
It's the one that
Red State's really good though.
Red State is really, really good for what it is.
Yeah.
The first thriller he ever did, and
like
John Goodman does a good job in that movie.
Holy fuck, he does.
I think Red State. It was on the cusp of being absolutely mind-blowingly phenomenal, and
I
unfortunately, they just didn't have the budget to shoot the movie that Kevin Smith wrote, so they had to change the ending.
The ending was the world actually ended, right?
Yeah, it turns out that Michael Park's character was right.
Okay, I knew that, but
those horns that they hear at the end of it, which they explain away as like a bunch of weed growing hippies who live down the way fucking with the commune there. That's all fine and dandy, but the actual ending was going to be those horns sounding were the it was the horn of Gabriel, and it was signaling the second coming, and the next thing they know, like actual warrior angels descend, and one of the last things you were going to see was like a really people's heads would start like popping with shit like the angels were doing, and attacking them, bringing them up to the sky and dropping them, much like what Bartleby was doing in Dogma. And one of the last things you were going to see was God show up, and it was going to be Alanis Morissette, and she was going to open her mouth, and that was going to be the end, because anybody that hears God, dead. And that would have been fucking fantastic. And instead they had to like pull back to like, oh, I guess we'll just do it like this, and that was that.
Is it safe to say that if that ending was the one that was filmed, that movie would be part of the Viewisk universe?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
It would be. I think it would be sort of an Elseworlds Viewisk universe tale.
Okay.
Or at least showing that God is constant in all of these stories, no matter what universe they take place in. But I will say I haven't seen it. I don't know anything about it. Yeah, Carrie just said, now that I've heard that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ruin her.
Carrie, you should still watch it though. It's a phenomenal movie.
Yeah, it is good. And a lot of the players in it, they do a great job. Michael Parks, Carrie Fish, what's his name?
Yo.
Michael.
Yeah, my phone fell.
What the hell is it? Angenaro? The kid from Sky High that played the Kurt Russell's son in it.
Oh yeah.
Funny enough, the kid who plays his friend in the movie with like the long ponytail mullet, he also was in Sky High with Michelangelo. He plays Zach, the kid that can glow in the dark. He's now on the show Succession on HBO. But yeah, it is a really solid movie up until the very end. It's not even that it's a bad ending, but it's just like it feels.
The ending is, it kind of disappoints.
Well, it also feels a little anticlimactic the way that they end it. You'll see. If Carrie, watch it and you'll know exactly what I mean. It's not a knock on it. I think it's worth checking out. But yeah,
said, if you don't know about the ending, if you didn't know the ending, you wouldn't necessarily be disappointed. I wasn't disappointed until I heard about what the original ending was supposed to be.
No, you see, I watched the movie and then I found out about the ending, but I was still disappointed because the movie itself ended in what felt like a very anticlimactic way. It's so much heightened tension right there. And then I'm not going to say what exactly what happens because I know Carrie put it on a list, but all of us who have seen it, there's like that happens, then cut, and you get like a whole thing that's just hey, yeah, let's explain all of this in like one of the most boring ways possible.
It's so nonchalant as well.
Yeah, I just feel like that was not the best way to the best note to go out on with that story. There's so much that ramps up, and man, it could have been executed a little bit better. But I get they did what they could. Their hands were tied budgetarily. But yeah, like with Clerks 3, if you have ever enjoyed the characterization in Kevin Smith's
Dante and Randall
universe, not just Dante and Randall, but how he constructed the relationships in all the different stories, his approach to them, and how he always put like a part of himself into those more personal stories. That's what Clerks 3 is. It's fine. It's him coming back to like, this is a personal part of me that I wanted to put in. That's why Clerks is so effective. That's why Chasing Amy is so effective. That's why Dogma is so effective. It's why Jersey Girl is so effective, and I will fight anyone to the death trying to say that's not a good movie. It is. It's just not a Jay and Silent Bob movie, so people need to get the fuck over it. It's a very sweet movie. It's a cute family movie, which Kevin Smith always promised his mother he would make, and I think it was ripped apart on like needlessly. And it was done by people who were supposed fans of Kevin Smith. It's like, no, you're not fans of Kevin Smith. You're fans of the 2 fucking cartoon characters he puts in every one of these movies. And Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back came out, and that's, to me, I was like, oh, okay, well, it's very, very clear that Jay and Silent Bob are characters that work very well in a background secondary fashion. They should not be the main characters. I mean, I saw Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and it was fine. It was better than Strike Back. But that being said, it still was kind of hollow. It was more superficial. And I think if you're gonna go that route with any Kevin Smith movies, Mallrats should be like Threshold. And beyond that, if he's doing that fucking shticky stuff that he did with Jay and Silent Bob, it's not with it. And the thing is, he can do comedy without relying on Jay and Silent Bob and all that cartoonish, buffoonish behavior. Because Zack and Miri Make a Porno was actually pretty funny.
I still love that movie.
And it has a lot of heart to it as well. That's the thing. Give a shit about Seth Rogen and Elizabeth Banks throughout, and definitely by the end of that movie.
I want to make 2 points about the Clerks 2 thing. When I heard that they announced that movie, it was the first time since, I don't know, when did 97, I think, is like when they announced Clerks 3. Yeah. It was when they announced No. I mean, when I started paying attention to Kevin Smith's career.
Okay. I thought you were saying like when Clerks
Yeah.
was released. Okay,
So
I get you.
it's been the first time since like '97. I'm thinking that I'm like, I don't need this movie. But when I saw it, I was like, holy shit! Like I was so happy it came out because it kind of me and you have talked a couple of times that we're fanboys of Kevin Smith.
Absolutely.
And it sucked because you see a movie and it's just him pandering to the people who
that's exactly what Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was.
Exactly. And like it just, I was just like, why? And like I wasn't necessarily disappointed with Reboot, but it was just like
I think he was trying to redeem what he did with Strike Back. You know?
Okay. No, I totally get it.
I think on the independent side of things, the way that he operated best, throughout most of his films, it did a large portion of that. It did. And if for anything else, the fact that, have we all seen Jay and Silent Bob Reboot here?
Yep.
Okay. That whole movie was worth it for me when I saw Alyssa and Holden.
Yes, 100% yes.
That made it worth it. And why? Because he directly connected the two main characters of that movie to another very incredibly personal movie, Chasing Amy.
Mm-hmm.
To have those two, and the fucking great thing about it is Joey Lauren Adams and Ben Affleck are actually so good at what they do that there was not a moment truly with them inhabiting those characters again in Reboot that felt inorganic.
Mm-hmm.
It was right. Kevin Smith gave it the proper consideration for how those characters were going to be presented to the audience again.
Yeah.
And that, more than anything else, was a great button and made me feel a lot better about schlepping all the way up to Portland, Maine in order to see it when it came out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he's doing this stuff now with He-Man, and I loved Revelation.
It was great.
I really enjoyed it, and I got the biggest kick out of all the fucking whiner baby man children. And they're like, "This is stupid."
The Tila show.
Tila's doing stuff. It's like, well, first of all, it's only the first half of the story, you nincompoops.
Yeah.
But secondly, a lot of the complaints like, "Oh, He-Man, now it's going to be all about women." Blah blah blah. I'm like, first of all, shut up. All right, like we're all people. Like I don't know if you realize.
Never mind, Tila was a huge character back in the 80s.
How about this? Like the focus that they kept putting on, like, oh, so it's going to be so woke and women are going to take center stage now. You do realize, idiots out there that thought this and even said it on fucking public forums on social media, that He-Man was given that power, that Adam was given that power by the most powerful woman in Eternia, right? The guardian of the Castle Grayskull.
The sorceress is like
kind of an important person that you could potentially tell an interesting story about and how it relates to He-Man, right? Which is exactly what Revelation did. And the brilliance of it was nowhere near as touted as the complaining about the series was. And that was fucking almost criminal.
I just absolutely loved how that series touched on so many of my nostalgia buttons, and it made the show watchable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you cannot. It's. I mean, I know that you absolutely adore Masters of the
Dude,
Universe.
I love it.
But that cartoon is hard to fucking watch, man. And I'm being diplomatic. It's impossible to actually watch. Like I tried.
It is rough.
I tried. I was excited about trying, and I was told to temper my expectations, and I thought I did. And I put on one episode, and I was just like, I can't fucking do this. I will
sitting here
read
too long,
about him.
apparently.
What's that?
I've been sitting here too long, apparently.
You get off this podcast right now.
I love that cat. That is so great how she loves, or he or she loves you so much.
The other point, which is it's a very subtle thing, is I loved the fact that he made Jay and Silent Bob as effective as he did in that movie, with them being subtle versions of themselves. They weren't as outlandish as they have been in previous films, and it was like, oh, they definitely work a lot better when they're not being fucking hijinky.
Yeah, when the focus isn't on them, and you're not trying to turn them into living Muppets.
Yeah,
but oh my god, like
subtle
Brian,
Jay and Bob.
Brian O'Halloran is given such a better version of Dante to work with in Clerks 3. And that's not a knock on Kevin Smith's writing for the character in the past, because Brian O'Halloran has clearly grown as a performer as well.
Oh, for sure. You can see
He's
it.
amazing.
You see Clerks 3 though, and good holy shit, man. Like it was one of those things where I'm like, damn it, Brian O'Halloran. If
towards
you
the
were
end, like it, yeah.
What was it? Was that
towards the end when he loses it on Randall?
Oh
like,
yeah.
That was one of the most like emotional scenes I've seen in like the past 10 or so years.
He was great, and it's just too bad that he had not been
bigger than he is,
given that opportunity to approach a character in such a way before Clerks 3. Like at this stage, it's like,
I agree.
Man. It was right there. It was right there at any point, and you know, his dare to be great situation. It just came along so much farther down the line. And it's like, fuck. But that being said, it's so effective. And I found myself moved with Clerks 3. And I just, for me personally, it's like, all right, Kevin, you proved that you can still hit those same beats with the stuff that we came to the party expecting to see years and years ago. Can we please do more of that now? Can you tell us these stories, and you know, through the prism of you and your humor, and your sense of gravitas, and work towards whatever denouement or denouement or whatever you're gonna say for a story, and not have it devolve into just, you know, like I said, buffoonery. I think he's capable of it, and we need to have more people that enjoy his films that aren't Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back speaking up about that and voting with their fucking dollars. And nothing pissed me off more than having seen Clerks 3 in theaters and just loving what was done, the choices made for story and character all across the board, and then seeing people I know say like, oh, I could try to find this online, and like, where can I pirate this? It's like, this just came out on fucking Friday. How about you fucking, if you're that big a fan, why don't you use your money to show movie studios that this is the shit you want to see more of? Because if you don't do that, then the shit that they are going to keep putting out there is always going to be the lowest common denominator crap that we fucking say like, oh, why do they keep making these kinds of movies? It's because that's the only stuff that people will go out there and pay money for. Like
That's
9 Fast and the Furious movies? Really?
11. They're doing 11. 10 and
10,
the last
10.
one. No, the 10 is being split into 2 movies.
Yeah.
What?
Is that counting Hobbs and Shaw?
Oh God, I forgot about that one.
I hate humanity. I really
Why
do.
does well, I'm trying to figure out why a Fast and Furious movie would need to be split into two different like
Oh,
they couldn't
it's
put
actually
enough
it's really
cars
gonna be in
flying
it.
between buildings.
It's
into
really
one?
easy. It's because they want to milk it for everything it's worth, and they know people will pay to
Oh,
see it.
man.
You just
Every-
Not
basically
me, but other people.
I feel bad because they always use that Paul Walker guy as the reason that they're making these movies, and it's just like, dude, you guys are dragging his name through the dirt. It's horrible.
I mean,
Horrible.
the reason why they're breaking it into two movies, my humble opinion is they had an interview with like one of the directors, and they were like, "Well, what's next for the Toretto gang?" And they're like, "Space," and he's like, and then they fucking did it. They did it in the last movie. They put two of them in space.
No.
Oh.
Oh, just like out of orbit or something like that, kind of
In a
like
car.
Tesla car.
No,
Well, I mean, if Batman can fly 12 hours,
I knew that was going to come up.
the dumbest fucking things. And I saw stuff since you showed me that, Leo, and thank God I am not alone. There are so many people out there that were so pissed off about the fact that they did that with Batman, like flying through space for 12 fucking hours and then going through the atmosphere and landing unscathed upon terra firma. Fuck everyone involved with that story.
Fuck
them and everyone who looks like them.
Looking at and I know this is totally derailed and we should wrap things up because I know we're over 2 hours, but the way the Batman storyline is going right now, which I'm loving, but it doesn't really make sense
that he was able to survive that.
No, that the failsafe shot him with a gun and put him into another universe.
Wait, that's the thing that doesn't.
No. Maybe at the end of
That
this,
part
we're going to
makes
find
sense.
out that he didn't survive to fall, or he barely survived to fall. He's been in like a coma the whole time. It's all been a dream.
Oh, so the fall wasn't real.
That's what I think. It's just a theory, because like failsafe.
Incidentally, have you been watching a lot of Dallas reruns lately, or just asking, just for funsies?
Fucking
like failsafe should not have been able to take out Superman that easy.
I literally have no idea what you were talking about.
Failsafe just obliterated.
Who the fuck is failsafe?
Is that the new issue?
Well, that's the beginning of the Zdarsky run. The current issue is Batman's in an alternate universe.
The fucking robot?
Yeah. The robot annihilated. Like,
oh, that's cute. Magic. I remember the first time I saw this character, and it was in Marvel and called Ultron.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, is that?
It looks very similar to Ultron. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, but essentially the failsafe is unbeatable. It was able to take out like the entire Justice League. It was able to take out the whole Bat family. Like, and when they're about to after Batman comes back to Earth and heals in the Fortress of Solitude, him and Superman and I think Damian were supposed to one last battle, and failsafe just obliterates them all. I mean, doesn't kill Superman, but really takes him out like nothing.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
But now Batman's in an alternate universe. He's in a Gotham that doesn't know that there is no Batman. So essentially it's like a reset for Batman. Like the current
so Batman's like,
Year one.
Now I have to make sure that Thomas and Martha Wayne are murdered in front of this reality's version.
Oh, jeez.
Well, can you just make sure that they don't get killed? No. Gotham needs a Batman.
Well, so Bruce Wayne was murdered in this universe. and the entire the entire city of Gotham is taken over by all the characters are like venomized.
Oh God, is it another crossover?
No. The Bane's venom. So
Yeah.
like Two-Face can like grow
Oh, you
really
thought it was
big
smart. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, bad word to use, venomized.
Look at
That's what the
everybody's
Marvel Universe
muscles.
does.
Oh, I will be this city's reckoning and venom supplier.
So this issue, this week's issue, essentially Batman's, going back to the basics. He made his bat suit and he's trying to scare the criminals,
So arts and crafts and scarecrows.
pretty
I
much.
swear to God, I just heard you say "scare the criminals."
Scare the criminals.
The skin.
Scare the criminals.
Maybe I'm tired.
It's the me, Batman.
Hey, it's me.
Man.
Okay, we should wrap things up.
I'm really surprised that no one's brought up the Ninja Turtle trailer.
Oh yeah, we were
Oh,
talking about that. Yeah.
It looks good. It looks good, and I will say, really appreciate the
Casting choices?
April. The what?
Casting choices.
Oh, yeah, no, kids voicing kids. That makes
Yeah,
perfect
yeah.
sense. I have no problem with that. Leonardo is my favorite Ninja Turtle, and to see my boy freaking out about the fucking sign in his leg, wonderful. I loved it. It's still in my leg. It was great. It was great. The new movie. What's it? Mutant something?
Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah, Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah, so Mutant Mayhem. Mayhem. Let's see here. Here we go. April. April O'Neil in this movie. Everyone's like, oh, they just race swapped April O'Neil. Ding, 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 kids. I got fucking news for you.
Yeah. Hold on, I got the issues if you'd like to see
April
her.
O'Neil was based on the wife of Peter Laird.
I'm not sure exactly whose
I think
wife,
it was
but
the first wife of Peter Laird, maybe.
yeah.
Who was biracial.
Yes.
April O'Neil is supposed to be a light-skinned black woman. The comics were in black and white when they were printed.
No white girl has that kind of hair.
And I wouldn't go that far. Some girls have very tightly curled hair.
Here's a
yes.
I don't know if we can get a good enough picture of her, but
the best. If you were to cast April O'Neil in the 89 or 88 movie, and it was a 1990 movie, right? The perfect person to play her, according to the characters' designs in the comics, would have been, in my opinion, at that point in time, Jennifer Beal from Flashdance.
Okay.
I don't. A lot of people, it's common knowledge to me. A lot of people don't realize that Jennifer Beal is biracial, which is one of the funniest things about her being cast as this sort of like, Italian American steelworking, wannabe dancer in Flashdance. It's like, almost. you got most of that correct, but yeah, Jennifer Beal, her look matches exactly how April was supposed to look, and it's the same ethnic background. They whitewashed the character for the cartoon.
Yep.
Eastman and Laird actually fought and wanted April to be a black woman the way that she had been designed, and they got so much pushback because of the companies involved with making the cartoon that they had no choice but to fucking back off. The same thing happened when the movie started getting made, and they had the same argument. And here's the funny thing about the hair, Jar Jar. The design of the character and her tightly curled hair is the reason why they gave Judith Hoag the hairstyle she had in the live action movie. It was because the closest they could get to a light skinned, green eyed, redheaded woman having the type of like tight curl that April O'Neil's hair was supposed to have. It was basically like a bad perm,
Yeah.
which was still appropriate for 1990. So that's why they made that choice. And it confused me for a long time. Like, why would they do that to her fucking head in that movie? And it turns out, it's because they shouldn't have cast her. Not that there's anything wrong with Judith.
No, she's a great
I love
person.
Judith. She's great. The woman looks like she's aged approximately like 4 years since that movie came
For
out.
real.
Yeah, I'm not even joking. And part of that is like if you're a redhead, you're not going out in the sun a lot. So like she's avoided the damage. Good for her. But yeah, I absolutely love that they went back to formula for the look of this character. It's the same thing in the cartoon on Nickelodeon as well. They've made April O'Neil a young black girl in that show. I hope that continues to be the approach with the character in every iteration moving forward, because it's the most truthful rendition of the story that the two creators set out to tell. But yeah, like seeing all that go back and forth now, like that's what I didn't expect it. I had not watched anything about the movie until that trailer dropped, and as soon as I saw it, it was like a fist pumping, like fuck yes, like it's fucking awesome. Like I love it. I absolutely adore it. And I'm not getting the feeling that they don't care about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with having seen this trailer.
I actually, once again, because I have tons of children, we're watching the Kids' Choice Awards, and bam, there's Seth Rogen and the entire kids cast, Leonardo, Donatello, all of them were out there, and dude, everybody is like front and center for them.
Yeah, I got the same feeling from that trailer that I got from the 2014 show on Nickelodeon, where you clearly had people that knew all of the stories and loved these characters and the situations that they had been put in, and also just loved pop culture, generally speaking, from like the 80s on. And they mishmashed that into a really, really fantastic take on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles altogether. And I'm hoping that this is like the next step in the evolution of approach to the franchise, because we cannot continue to get shit like those weirdly mediocre live action movies, as well as the Rise of the Ninja Turtles show that's on. Like I've seen bits and pieces, and it's a bit too much. They feed directly into like the most common ideas about the characters, like Raphael being the fucking tank of the group and shit. Like, all right, man, I don't know that you needed to make him big. They're all supposed to be.
Oh, I know the show you're talking about now.
Yeah, it's not. I don't like it.
Yeah, no,
it's shitty. But this looks great. This looks absolutely great.
Really solid. Though I am confused on why there's no screw loose. Wing nuts in it, but no screw loose. It seems weird.
But you're gonna save something for the sequel. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun flick. I'm looking forward to it, and I haven't cared about a Ninja Turtles movie being in theaters since probably Secret of the Ooze, because with TMNT I didn't care about that coming out, and then
I got excited for it until I saw it.
The animated movie.
Yeah. I don't get me wrong. I thought it was done well, but it wasn't what I wanted for TMNT. Like, yeah, it just wasn't what I was. It felt more like Gargoyles rehashed.
I honestly too, like, I kind of missed out on the second cartoon series that had been done that was on like Fox Saturday mornings or whatever. I I just wasn't there for it, and I didn't feel like I missed anything. And so many people my age are like, "Oh, it's like one of my favorite versions." And I tried watching a little bit. I saw the Turtles Forever crossover thing they did, which was great. But I was very fucking confused when it started up because I was like, why do the Ninja Turtles have like a gigantic, huge, like technologically advanced headquarters in the middle of Central Park? What the fuck is going on with the show? How is this the version that everyone says they love the most? I don't get it. And then a few years later, you have the movie, which Michael Bay, he did not instill any confidence in that property for me whatsoever. When I read all about the shareholders meeting for Paramount and how his description of what the movie's approach was going to be, the backlash was so bad that they had to change what they were going to do. They were going to be aliens. They were not going to be mutants as we knew them, like from the ooze and stuff. It was all going to be wildly, deeply terrible, worse than what we got, which at least was just
a scary thought.
Mediocre. Yeah. Shredder was going to be William Fichtner's character through and through. His name was going to be Schrader, like Colonel Schrader, and he ends up taking on the persona of Shredder. Yeah, it was all just not good. And then that I didn't feel great about, and when the show in 2014 started up on Nickelodeon, I was just like, here we fucking go. And I turned on like the first episode, and quite frankly, they hooked me right from the word go with the fucking theme song. And moving forward, I was like, this is penultimate Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, we might have one more version of this that nails every single thing, but this is as close as we're getting for a long time, I'm guessing.
That's the 2014 series?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Absolutely outstanding. And the funny thing is, talking with our buddy Justin Cooper, who lives, eats, and breathes Ninja Turtle stuff, I am not well versed in the comic book series. And I said, yeah, it was really cool. And I even stuck around for that weird, goofy, like space race Fugitoid stuff they made up for it.
That's part of the original, yeah.
And he goes, "Oh no, that's part of the original comics." And I was like, "Excuse me?"
Yep.
He goes, "Oh yeah, no, that was one of the coolest things about it is they pulled directly from what the comics were." And I was like, "Okay." Because I told him I was like, I kind of fell off the show when they started doing that for the last like real season of it,
I was super excited when I saw
he said it, and he said that to me, and I was just like, "Whoa, shit!" And I went back and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna watch the season all the way through." And I started at the beginning and went into it, and I got through that last season. I was like, "Oh shit! All right, I get it. That was fucking awesome. That was great." And I should probably shut the fuck up about things I don't know about. I legitimately thought they just made it up for the cartoon. I was like, "All right, just phoning it in now, boys." I get it. So I mean, here's hoping that Seth Rogen, he continues to learn lessons from every other project he does regarding comics and cartoons, and they're able to really, hammer it home with this. I feel like it's been quite the evolution seeing his approach to how these things work. Preacher is a piss poor example of how to approach a property. It's sort of like what they did with Stephen King's The Dark Tower. It's like they just took a highlighter and hit all the cool looking words and said like, all right, make a script out of that. Oh, all right. What about all the subtlety and nuance and character development? No. Gunfights. Do that. Oh, great. Cool. They did that with Preacher. Like, no. Just, weird shit happening in Texas and the South, angels here and there, God doing weird stuff, bald German guy, and then we'll just end the show. Okay, I don't think any of that's correct, but you guys are the ones with money. And then we move forward, and we know that they were involved with the development of The Boys, and also Invincible. And Invincible has been
Invincible is great.
Yeah, fucking phenomenal. There's been really minimal deviation from the source material, which was a welcome first for the stuff that they had produced, been making for things like that. And I am incredibly hopeful that they will respectfully approach the material for this new movie, and we'll get something that a wide range of audiences will enjoy. That's really the key. That Ninja Turtles at this point
So
should
we
be
get more.
something that old and young can enjoy together for similar and slightly different reasons, and that it continues to be a presence. So you, like you said, Jeremy, pull even more kids in, boys and girls. Like let's fucking
I
do
need
it. Too.
my action figures to go up in value. You guys need to want it. If they don't want it, that's
chief amongst
all
my
garbage.
concerns, Jeremy.
It's all garbage if they don't like it.
It's all about the merchandising.
Merchandising.
Okay. On that note, we need to wrap things up because we're well over 2 hours. I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. For me, just Google Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. I'm not going to say which is which, but I run the Dorkening Podcast Network, and I do a bunch of stuff here. Head on over to thedorkening.com. You can find all the shows there. A lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. I do splash pages on Tuesday and on Wednesdays, Still Token With, and here on Midweek Geeks. And also doing some awesome shows with Justin and Brandon, and he'll tell you a little bit about those as well. And we'll kick it off with Jar Jar.
Hey, come hang out at Connecticut GamerCon March 18th and 19th at Mohegan Sun. I'll be there running a few panels with Kyle Abear, Marta Spatek, and Caitlin Glass, all big voiceover people for anime. And then if you want to hang out on Facebook, my name and Comic Book Lovers, Buy, Sell, Trade, and Auction House is always a great place. So check all those out.
Woohoo!
And I have to pee so bad.
No.
I'll make mine quick then. You'll see Ron on Instagram. Let's get that guy to a bathroom.
Yeah. Steve.
Nerds of Unusual Origin. Hey, there's the thing up right there. Right there. Nerds of Unusual Origin. Every Saturday now. Pop culture, movies, beer, the fun stuff. Check it out.
Awesome. Take us out, fine sir.
Absolutely. I will also make this quick for Jeremy, and that's why I've prepared a little speech that I've always found inspiring by a man you may have heard of, Abraham Lincoln. 407 years ago, our nation was brought. Oh no! Oh, sorry. No, everyone. I'm powerful, Brandon. If you feel so inclined, I'd love for you to come by and check out the Powers Combined Facebook group. We're a conglomeration of dorks that like to get together and share news, memes, laughs, good times, and fun to be had by all. Our number one rule there is don't be a jerk. If you violate that, you will be booted immediately. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter at Brandon's Powers and Instagram at This Brandon Has Powers. I also do a couple of podcasts, as Leo had mentioned. They are bi-weekly, switching off every other Sunday. The first of which is The Dork Night that I do with Leo and Justin. We discuss and dissect all things Batman. And on the other side of that is Comics Paradox, in which the three of us go over different alternate reality takes and tales, such as Elseworlds and What Ifs from DC and Marvel, respectively. In addition to story arcs and event series like X-Men's Age of Apocalypse or Amalgam Comics, in which Marvel and DC combined their characters and made new stories with these characters. If you are interested in checking out Comics Paradox on Twitter and Instagram, on Twitter it is comics_paradox, and on Instagram it is at Comics Paradox Podcast. And you can find those, as I said, every other Sunday, switching off wherever fine podcasts are broadcast.
Awesome. That we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.